How you doing, everyone? I'm doing a video this week from my iPad because whenever I try to use my phone, it takes me like hours to upload, and I think this might be a little bit easier. So let's have a look. So today we're going to talk about any energy expenditure in the form of steps. But before we get to that, I want to talk about my week in review. I'm wearing a beanie this week because my jacket's in the wash, so I hope that's okay. It's pretty cold in here, and my jacket's in the wash, so I have pajama bottoms on, and I don't think you guys would want to see me in my pajamas. But okay, so week in review. This is probably the lowest calorie week I've had this week. I think my calories have been, if I'm looking at it now, just under. So that's my week in review in reverse. So it's an average of that's for tomorrow. It's an average of 2095 when you take into account steps. So pretty low calories this week. It's been feeling pretty good, and sort of like my realization this week is sort of the impetus for this vlog, which is I've been heavily focused on energy in, and I haven't been very focused on energy out, and which is embarrassing to say at the very least. But I've started adding cardio sessions. Now, I'm not necessarily one of these people who are anti-cardio per se. I don't think it has necessarily the benefits of, like, you know, if you're doing cardio, that's your fat loss. I think it's an interplay of different factors. So that's why I hadn't really focused on it. And I think I'd sort of told myself, like, I don't have the time, which is not true. So food-wise, calories are getting low, but to make up a bigger deficit, I've introduced some half an hour. I think I did 2 45s and 1 half an hour or so step session this week. Just moderate intensity walk in the treadmill. So it's feeling pretty good. The weight's starting to come off. Well, the body fat's starting to come off. I had a student do an assessment on me this week, and honestly, they gave me a reading of 17% body fat, which is not good. I tend to think, like, I tend not to rely on skin folds too much. Like, all we need is a consistent measure of them going down. It doesn't matter accurately what the reading that we get is. But I would surmise, based on the photos that I've seen, about 15% or so around there. Like, you know, some shape around the abs and stuff, but definitely nowhere near where I actually want to be. So just keep grinding. I've got one more peak week. So I'm going to try for a high volume week. I'm going to add an extra workout in to try and, you know, send myself into some fatigue. And then I'm going to have a diet break / refeed for the deload week. So I'm going to up my calories to about around maintenance, 2.5, 2.6, and primarily through carbohydrates. I'll keep my fats probably at around 50, 60 grams a day. And then that should help me recover. And then 4 weeks till Bali, so it'll be a 4-week push with probably 3 or 4 cardio sessions or steps or what have you in that last 4 weeks. And that'll be where I'll be, like, that'll be my quote unquote digging phase. That'll be calories down real low, steps to get averaging about, I'm trying to average about 8 to 10,000 or 10,000 at the moment. I'll be jacking that up to about 12 to 13 a day. So that's the plan. So getting on to steps for today. So when thinking, and we've talked a lot about energy in, and certainly not exhaustively, but we've talked a lot about it, but there's another component, right? So there's energy out. And I think addressing that is obviously, it's, you know, arguably 50% of the puzzle if you want to look at it that way. So how can you do that? So it's called non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's part of your metabolic rate. So you can do it through cardio, high-intensity interval training, aerobic interval training, steady state, long-distance runs, and all those kind of things, sure. Or you can do it in sort of the passive route of parking your car further away, taking the stairs when you have to go to the shops, walking, going for walks with your partner and friend, walk your dog daily or nightly, walk around the block in the morning before your morning meal, are all sort of things that I've heard people use. Me personally, I'm just going to, if I get a client cancellation, if I have a gap between clients and training, if I have pretty much any gaps anywhere, I'll be putting in some kind of steps. If I finish early, I'll be adding sort of like steps. So for me personally, my Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays are sort of like you see a drop in activity. Thursday, I typically get about 6,000 steps. Normally Friday, I get 2 or 3. Saturday and Sunday, I'd be lucky to get 2. So I will be, like for me personally, and this is something you want to think about with yourself, it's like where can you find times when you can just get on a treadmill or go for a walk for a half an hour, an hour. And those 4 days are it for me. So I guess I'd want you all to start thinking about when you can put in an extra day, or 2 or 3, when you can find some extra activity, find some extra steps, find some, find 30, as they say. And that will see, like, I mean, I try to, like, when setting up my MyFitnessPal and stuff, I use sort of the activity markers based on, I think it was a PubMed, it was a study that showed that something like 8 to 10,000 steps is about roughly where you can consider yourself active. So I put myself and most of my clients on pretty much lightly active. So to find those extra calories when you're finding that fat loss is stalling. And now for a lot of you who aren't deep into fat loss cycles, maybe this isn't so important, but I think energy expenditure is always something to have in the background. And whenever you're getting frustrated with your results and, when you feel like your calories are down, which I know there are a few of my clients that feel that way, looking to increase your output is definitely the way to go. And like, I'm very privileged in that I work in a gym, so if I have a cancellation, I can merely just, walk 20 meters to a treadmill and just jump on one of those. So I understand for the regular person, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but I mean, the great thing about just walking, like, as opposed to going for a run or doing some interval training or something, is that you can do it anywhere. And I understand the weather at the moment is a little bit shit, so finding times where the sun is out now might be a great time to grab the dog and go for a walk, or grab your little green shopping bags and walk down to your local deli and pick up just some food and stuff that you need, and to get that incidental thing. Start looking at car parks that are maybe a little further away. Start whenever you go out with friends, maybe walk to the train station, catch the train in, walk to them, park further away. Just try to be interactive with your life and think about how you can start to just get steps in. Like, even myself, so I can give you myself as an example. So where I work at Murray Street in the city, we have parking pretty much like around the corner from Murray Street on Wellington, and I used to try and park as close as I could to the gym. There's parking down near Wellington Square, there's parking near the YHA, but I used to park out front at Synergy, which is like just around the corner. Since I've been trying to get my steps up, I park way down, like halfway between Synergy and Wellington Square outside the YHA, which gives me another probably 500 or 600 steps. I do that twice a day. You're starting to talk about another 2,000 steps. So even, I don't do this at Subi, but I probably should. I park on the street a little bit, so I should park maybe just even 2 or 3, 4, 5 car lengths, even, parking sections back, and walk myself in there. Those are easy ways to get incidental activity in, and I think a lot of people, myself included, they hear like cardio and exercise, cardio and interval training for fat loss, and they think that is the only way to burn fat. But if you're not on your feet for most of the day, like I'm a personal trainer, I'm probably on my feet. I'm a personal trainer and fitness director, so I'm not always on my feet. But let's say I do like 35, 40 sessions a week. Is he going to lay just in front of me? He is, isn't he? Okay, that's fine. Let's say I do 35 sessions a week, so I'm on my feet, 17 to 20 hours. That's still not super great. That's still pretty sedentary. So finding that extra time to get in for your steps. Come on, buddy. Sit over here with Farzad. So finding that extra time to get in those steps, super important. He doesn't need to worry about it because he's a fluffy. So, yeah, I would try and find, like, I can't walk this guy because he's a cat, but, I mean, you know, I can chase him around the house a little bit, but we do have a dog and we can go walking with him. So, I think that's pretty much all I had to say about steps. Just find more. If you can, like on Saturdays, we're going to go into the gym, we're going to do our workout, and then I'm just going to do half an hour of steps after, something like that. You know, like even thinking about just when you drop the kids off at school or when you do something, just find 30. I mean, it's as simple as that. So I think that's pretty much it for today, guys. Logan says hi, and if there's any questions, any problems, any concerns, hit me up, message me, and sorry about this. He's been very cuddly the last couple of days. Any other concerns, any other thoughts, DM me, PM me, comment on whatever you see me interacting in, alright? Thanks so much, team.